Okay.
All right. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. So today I have another contributor in my book, Miraculous, my multi-author book, Miraculous, Len Blea. And so welcome, Len. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to start out with this question. Well, first, introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Oh, so I'm Len Blea. I there's a lot. I do Reiki, I do mediumship, I do psychic stuff. I do like a lot of things. My specialty is really energy readings, looking at people, reading their energy, aura photos, aura energy readings. That is really my specialty. Um, I just, and my calling really is that I meet people and I just show up. Someone's like, hey, I need a D battery. I'm like, I got one in my car. Things like that. I just show up. And people come to me and they tell me their life story, whether I'm at the store or in the restaurant, or, they're just like, hey, I just really need to tell you all this because I feel like you can help me. And, we chat and they're like, okay. So I just show up, and that's really what I do.
I love that. I love that. I just show up when people need me. I love that a lot. When did you notice that was the thing? You keep showing up when people needed you. When did you notice?
I noticed it about like 5, 6 years ago. It was just strange. Funny story. I was in a restaurant with my friend, and this lady just came up to me and was just like, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And she's just talking. My friend's like, "Your food is getting cold." I'm like, "It's fine." And then it happened again, right? And then again, and then in the store, it was like, just, hey, I feel like I need to tell you this. And I was just like, okay, this is just my calling. The more, because for a while there, I was like, I just need to be secluded and everything. And when I did that, it started coming back more, and people were like, hey, I mean, the thing is, we're all energy, we're all people, like we're all part of each other. So, and acknowledging them, they're acknowledging me. And because our souls are connecting, and we understand that it could be a 5 second nod of acknowledgement, it could be a 20-minute conversation. We are like on the same path, right? It's just, we just, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Exactly. I love that. Okay, so hold on just a second. I'm gonna just pause. There we go. Okay. So
Okay.
yes, nothing is a surprise. This is a synchronicity to things, right? We always are at the right place at the right time. So I love that you're sharing that and identifying that was part of your purpose too. So I can't help but, like the alien and that shower curtain, like I can't. Let's talk a little bit about that. If that's okay with you. What is that? Is that what I think it is? It really an alien like face?
It is. It is. So I was getting ready for work one day, and I got out of the shower, and I just pulled the curtain back, and I was getting dressed, and I heard this, hey, look at me. And I looked up, and it was just like imprinted there. And I was like, wait, hold on. Like, let me capture you. Um, I took multiple, photographs of it. I've got one where you can actually see like the arms really elongated.
Wow.
And yeah. And so after I took its picture, it like faded. And in this same house, I actually had an alien etched on the tub. But of course, I lost that phone and the SIM card, so that picture was gone. But I had a lot of alien activity in the house. And I'm really drawn to aliens. So when I do like the aura photo readings and things like that, aliens appear in people's pictures, and it just seems to be like a common theme.
Oh, that's fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. So you keep getting occurrences where you get to have encounters like that.
Yeah. And a few years ago, I actually woke up with like some markings. I've got markings, but it looks like some sort of stamp with like some red ink. It's just, yeah. So it's been intense. It's been
Wow, that's
intense. Yeah.
fascinating. So just from hearing from that, what motivated, what inspired you to join this movement, this journey that we're in? What invited you to tell your story in Miraculous?
So what invited me to tell my story is that like nothing is coincidence. And with my story, I met this individual on Words with Friends through this crazy glitch, right? And right now we're doing, right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. We have all this fear, we have all this worry, right? And we forget about actual love. And love between two people doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be physical, but it could be karmic, it could be spiritual. And and I was thinking, like, what more do we need now than ever? It's love, right? And it's love how it needs to be, whether it's in person, whether it's over the internet, whether it's, online through Zoom. It doesn't really matter. Even if we never physically meet, there is still that communication beyond time, beyond space, where love connects us, right? And love is so important right now, and it is so necessary. And we can love each other, whether we know each other. We can love each other. And that's what inspired me, because it's like we really need love right now. Because someone is hurting doesn't mean that we can't love them. Because we're hurting doesn't mean we can't love. It's about being able to love each other regardless of where we are and what the situation is.
I love that. I love that. So is this something that you experience? Like, is this something that you have personally experienced that inspired you? Is it part of the story that you're going to be telling in the book?
Yes. Yes. It is the story how it happened. And yes, it's just, I tell people and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a fantasy. That's like a fairy tale. And I'm like, but it happened. And they were like, wow, you should write it. You should share it. And I said, I know I will someday. And now I've got that opportunity.
I'm really excited for others to get to read your story. I'm really excited to read your story too. I know you're still writing it. You're almost done with that. So I'm really excited to receive it and read it. I mean, so far the stories coming in are just, they're heartwarming, and they're also just like, oh my goodness, wow.
Right?
And
Yeah.
that is why this book, you can hear my little one bouncing around in the background. That's why this book was born, is because we need to bring together, we need to demystify what a miracle is, right? We
Mhm.
really need to remove that what word am I looking for? The thing that has put it on the pillar. Like, you have to be sacred in order to receive a miracle. You have to be like Jesus to, Mary, to receive a miracle. You have to be worthy of the miracle to receive the miracle, when the actual fact is that we're always receiving miracles, whether on a small scale or on a bigger scale, but we're always in the realm of miracles.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's more to it. I mean, wow, man, like there's so many stories that I could tell you of things that have happened. Like, and so many people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And just being able to survive like so many things. Like, I changed a light bulb when I was young, and I probably should have got electrocuted, but I didn't. And a man falls from a tree and lands on my back, and I break his fall, and I don't get hurt. I go off the side of the road, and I should have rolled, but I didn't. Like, all of these things. And I think the universe, right? And it's the universe that provides these miracles, because the miracles that they provide us remind us that we're not ready to go. But our experiences also show others that if it happened to me, it can happen to you. And and miracles are everywhere as long as we give thanks, right? The miracle to be alive, the miracle that we were born, the miracle of the near death experiences that we have, the miracle in meeting someone and loving them and helping them transition, right? Everything can be a miracle, as long it's what we want and what we call it, right? It's what's inside of us, like our heart, right? Our heart speaks those miracles, our heart needs those miracles, and we bring them, right? And if we can share, and people can, like, feel some awe and some hope that they can experience a miracle too, right? Isn't that what it's really all about?
Exactly, exactly. So with that said, like I want to hear your definition of what is a miracle for you. How would you define that in your own words?
A miracle for me is something that is not necessarily beyond the normal, but is, if that makes sense. So a miracle is like, I'll explain one that I did. My sister was dying years ago, and I there's a pilgrimage that you do from Santa Fe to Chimayo. It's called the pilgrimage, and you end up at the Santuario. So I was saying, I will do this pilgrimage if you can honor my sister with a liver so that she can live because she needed a transplant. And lo and behold, like a few days later, they called and she had a match, right? And I was like, wow. So I do the pilgrimage, and I don't do it all the same day because it's like an 8 to 10 mile and I can't, right? So I would do it over a course of a few years in the course of a few years. And when I was finally finished, I looked at the clouds and you could see an E and an L, like if it was trying to spell my name, Len, right? And then I looked up and I said, am I done with this pilgrimage? Have I walked enough? And then there's this other cloud that has this hand, right? That's pointing towards the church. And out of nowhere come these crows, right? And it was just like, wow, like just knowing that like everything fell together, right? The clouds, the birds, the liver, the quest, you know, and how is that not miraculous, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a great example of, I feel like miracles are what basically what we allow ourselves to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can wait till, like the big stuff, where we are like at the last minute, it's like, oh my gosh, please help me through this, and then a miracle, or, like the solution comes in and we're like, yes, thank you. Or it can be something small where it's like, I really need a parking space right by the store so I can just run in and run out real quick. And then it happens, right? But I feel like a
Exactly.
miracle is our capacity to perceive what is possible.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I love your story. That is so incredible, because, and that is like, it made me think about the elements of receiving a miracle. It's the commitments, like you commit to something and you ask for something. And I wonder if it is something that we are programmed with, that we have to do, or if it is really something that is part of the miracle frequency. What do you think?
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of the miracle frequency because I was in it. Like I was willing to do anything to get that miracle to happen, right? I mean, I'm not going to kid you, that was a very hard walk. And I didn't train for it. I went in the middle of the day when it was, 90 to 100 degrees. I went with my steel-toed boots. I went, no training, no nothing. And I just was like, drop me here and I'm walking. Drop me here and I'm walking. I even had my cane and I walked because part of it is my dedication from my heart, fulfilling my promise, fulfilling because it came, the miracle came, and I fulfilled what I said that I would fulfill as well. And at the same time, it's like you just know, right? It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of energy with give and take, with giving and receiving, right? I
Yes,
received this
yes.
miracle, therefore I'm going to give a miracle back
Oh,
because
I love
right,
that.
right, I'm giving a miracle back because I'm saying that I'm going to do a pilgrimage, that I'm going to, do what I need to do for my body. I'm, and it in the sense of the miracle was returned as I was walking, because as hot as it was, I didn't sweat. As hot as it was, I wasn't exhausted. So it was a kind of like a flow, if that makes sense. Because you would think you're walking, the sun's beating down on you, you don't have a hat, and you're thinking like all these things, right? And everyone's thinking, don't go in the middle of the day. And I said, you know what? This is my choice, because I'm not going to train for it. If I have my shoes and if I'm watered, then what is it? Is it really a pilgrimage, or is it a comfort? And at that point, when it's a pilgrimage, you go all in, you don't train, you go raw, and you come out how you need to.
I love how you said that you go all in raw and you come out how you need to. I also love how you said that it is an energy exchange, like a miracle for a miracle, and it's just such a powerful way to think about this, miracle frequency and how to tap into it, you know. Um, oh, it's so fascinating. There's like so much of it coming up. Like, how does one tap into the miracle frequency? Is this something that we're making it harder than it is, or is it something that is always around us? Like, what are your take on it? Like, I know my take, but I want to hear from you.
I think it's always around us. And we just have to get past what it should look like, because we want this huge thing. It's like, all right, it's going to come out of the sky. It's going to be this. It's going to be boom. It's going to have cake. It's going to have flowers. It's going to have firecrackers, right? But a miracle could be that someone on the corner is acknowledging you as much as you're acknowledging them, right? A homeless man who had less than me cared enough to want to give me money when I wasn't, where I needed to be. Is that a miracle? It's a miracle from God, right? It's a miracle from the universe, because someone is willing to help you, right?
Yeah.
Miracles come and go both ways. It could be you find a little penny on the floor. Wow, I needed that penny. It could be finding $100 somewhere, right? It's
Yes.
about, it's big, it's small. It just depends on the situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think if right,
Absolutely.
and I think if we remove ourselves back of the expectation of what it should look like, then we can allow them to happen, and then we could say, you know what? That tree is blowing its leaves for me. That's a miracle, right? That water is trickling and I can hear it. That's a miracle, right? And any little thing is a miracle. We just have to look at it as that. Look at what is our perception on what a miracle really is.
Oh man, as you were speaking, I that story of the person who was stranded in a boat in the middle of the sea, and he was praying to, the story goes like, and then, I'm kind of rephrasing it, but he was praying to God to save him, or maybe it was a flood, and a boat came by. He's like, no, I'm waiting for, God to save me. And a helicopter came by. It's like, I'm waiting for God to save me. And then, another thing came by. He's like, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. And at the end, he drowned because he didn't recognize the miracles that were coming in. Like he had the preconceived notion of, it has to be the hand of God coming down to grab me. And of course, that would be amazing, right? That would be so cool.
Right.
But he, because of that, it blocked him from receiving all that miracle that, the divine was showering upon him to save him from wherever, what he was experiencing, so
Exactly.
It's like that. What have you been ignoring that has been miraculous in your life?
Exactly.
Is it because it doesn't fit your definition of miracles? And if that is the case, how can you redefine a miracle? And I think it really begins with opening up to getting to know what a miracle is again. Stepping into that frequency of miracles and saying, I am open to receiving miracles today in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and see what comes in, and kind of just open up to really be aware of what gets showered in our lives, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, Len, thank you so much for joining me for this chat. We can go on and we're going to have another opportunity where I actually bring all the authors together, and we're going to even dive in more about this, because it's so big. Like, the world needs this now, and that's why the people coming in, are holding that frequency and bringing in those wisdom. As you read these stories, as you get pulled into these stories, you're getting activated too energetically. You're getting initiated into the mysteries of miracles, which is quite beautiful there. So I'm really excited. And for those of you who would like to be part of this journey, make sure you find that link, click on it, and apply to become a contributor. There's 2 levels of investment. You can write a chapter, which is 3,000 words, or you can do 500 words. If you're like, oh my gosh, 3,000 words is just too much. I don't know if I have that story. That's okay. You have both of them. You can do 3,000 words, or you can do 500 words. And I did that so that more people will have the ability to share their stories and become best-selling author. Why best-selling author? Because that will amplify your reach. It will amplify your impact so that your medicine can reach more people. More people can get to know you and your work and want to work with you. And, that's important. That's so important. But Len, thank you so much for joining me today. And
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to reading your story. And I hope everyone is looking forward to also experiencing the stories in this book when it comes out.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.